So in this today's session, I'm going to give a demo on big data and Hadoop. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss about what are the topics we are going to learn as part of this course, and what are the prerequisites we require to get into the course, and after completion of the course, what you are going to learn, and what are the skills you will get, and what are the jobs you can apply for. So as part of the demo, first let us start with the basic concept like what is big data and what is Hadoop, where it comes into the picture, and also we are going to discuss about what is data warehouse and OLTP, OLAP, all these concepts. Okay, so first let us start with the basic concept where the big data Hadoop came into the picture. So before going to that, first we need to understand what is data warehouse. What is data warehouse? So data warehouse is basically a storage area where we can get all the data. So for example, let me show you a small example here. So we have some company, for example, the company is located in different countries. So suppose US on UK or Australia or some different countries my company is located. And now what I want to do as an organization, so I wanted to know the progress of my business on that particular different areas. So in each and every area, they will maintain the database, right? So the data is stored in those locations, like in their local locations. So here, and quarterly once or hourly once, I wanted to analyze this data because I want to know the progress of my business basically. So what I can do is I will get all this data, and from different regional locations I'll put together in one place, and this data can be used for analysis. This data can be used for analysis, and this is basically called as data warehouse. So data warehouse is a common place where we will get the data from multiple geographical locations. So why we need to do analysis on this data? Because I want to know the progress on business. So based upon that, I can take the business decisions, right? So for that reason, we need to get the data from and then multiple reasons, and then I can pull the data in one place. From there I can analyze this data. So this is basically called as a data warehousing. And there are two kinds of concept here. We have OLTP and OLAP. So let me discuss this. What is OLTP? So these are the two important terms we need to understand in big data world: OLTP and OLAP. OLTP and OLAP. So what does it mean? Means OLTP means online transactional processing, online transactional processing, and online analytical processing. Online transactional processing, online analytical processing. There are two things we have. One is online transactional processing, online transactional processing system, and the other one is OLAP, online analytical processing system. Online analytical processing. So OLTP and OLAP. So where these two things come into the picture. So we already know what is data here. So data warehouse is a storage area. Data warehouse is a storage area, and the data which is loaded in the warehouse we use it for analytic purpose. We can analyze the data, right? So OLAP and OLTP, where these two things are comes into the picture: online transactional processing and online analytical processing. So when you come to here, this example, so for example, I have different regions. So my business is located, and I also have different branches in multiple locations. Let us say this is US and UK and Australia. So every location they will maintain the database, right? This is basically the local database server, and the whatever transactions they are happening in their locations will be stored in local databases, right? So these transactions will happen in day-to-day basis. These transactions are happening in the day-to-day basis. So these comes under the picture is OLTP, online transactional processing system. So day-to-day basis transactions will be loaded in the databases. in local databases. So this concept is called OLTP, online transactional processing. This is basically transactional data on day-to-day basis, and we cannot get this data for analytic purpose because this is daily updating data, right? So what we can do is we will pull all this data and put them into one place. This we call as a data warehouse system, and this data we can analyze because this is the data which is coming from multiple regions, and we don't analyze this data on day-to-day basis. Every quarterly once or hourly once we will analyze the data, and this is basically called as analyzed data or analytical data, and this is comes under OLAP, online analytical processing system. So the data warehouse is an example for OLAP, online analytical processing system. And the local databases which we are using for storing data on day-to-day basis comes under the OLTP, online transactional processing systems. Okay, this is a high level. Now coming to the big data. So where the big data coming to the picture? So that actual transactional data will be loaded in the local database servers. Suppose this can be Oracle database, or it can be SQL Server database, or it can be MySQL database. These can be many number of database, any kind of relational data type databases. But in the data warehouse, we don't have any kind of relationship here because we'll pull all kinds of data from multiple sources or multiple databases and store them into one data warehouse, and this is having the complete data. So this is called as analytical data. Suppose if the data is went to beyond the limit, for example, your traditional systems are not able to handle this data and beyond the size or beyond the limit, that we can call as a big data. That we can call as a big data. If the data is beyond the limit or beyond the storage and beyond the processing. If the data is limited, then we can easily process it and we can easily store the data. But if the data is beyond the processing limit or beyond the storage level, we can call that as a big data. We can call that as a big data. So if you want to process this big data or if you want to store this big data, traditional systems cannot be supported. Like Oracle or SQL Server, the traditional RDBMS cannot be supported. So we need a special kind of technology to handle this kind of big data. Okay, so to handle this big data, the different kinds of technologies and came into the market. So in those technologies, Hadoop is a major and very popular technology. We can handle this big data. Hadoop is basically a framework or we can a technology which can handle this big data. Okay, so now we have understood what is OLTP, what is data warehouse, what is OLTP, and what is OLAP, and what is big data. So big data, in the sense, big data is a data which is beyond the storage and beyond the processing capacity is called as a big data. And if you handle this big data, traditional systems cannot be supported. We require a special kind of framework or special kind of technology, that is Hadoop. Okay, so let me write few points here what we have understood. So OLTP means online transactional processing. OLAP means online analytical processing. Now we discuss what is big data. So big data means data which is beyond the storage and processing capacity. Data which is beyond storage and processing capacity. Okay, is called as big data. Is called as a big data. So from where this data we are getting? So nowadays, not only these sources, we are getting this big data from various sources. Like we have social networking site, we have mobile devices, and we have internet transaction, network devices, and so many things, right? So we are getting this data from multiple sources. So as far as we are improving the devices on technologies, we are getting this data and it has become very huge. So managing this data and processing data is very difficult task. So let us understand what are the different sources of big data, from where we are getting this big data. So if it is a companies, we will get this data from different regions or different locations. Suppose if it is a social sites, so social sites are always running on online 24/7. So we'll get a lot of data like big data, like WhatsApp data, or social sites or YouTube data. So these are all comes under the big data. So it is managing, storing this data is very huge, and also managing processing is very tough as well. So big data is coming from multiple sources. So what are the sources? Sources of big data. Sources of big data. So basically social sites, social networking sites. So social networking sites are generating big data like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. And also mobile devices also generating the data like calls data we are calling, right? Calls data or text data, apps related data. All these things comes under the mobile devices. And also internet transactions. So like in internet transactions means like purchases or banking activities. So all these things comes under the internet transactions. So these kind of transactions will generate the big data. And also some network related devices also will generate data like temperature or weather forecasting. So all these things will generate some data. So there are many more sources to generate this big data. So when we call this as a big data, as I said, big data is a data which is beyond the storage and beyond the processing capacity is called as a big data. But along with this definition, we need to also have certain criteria if you want to call as a big data. So it should satisfy certain characteristics. So then we can call them as a big data. Now let us see what are the characteristics of big data. When we call them as a data, I have some data, simply I cannot say that is big data. So it should satisfy certain properties or certain characteristics. Then we can call them as a big data. So let us say I have 5 different properties or characteristics. If the data is satisfied those 5 different properties, then we can call them as a big data. The first characteristics will be volume. What is volume? Volume is size of the data. Volume is nothing but size of data. Size of data. How much size it is. Based upon the size, we will decide whether this is big data or not. And the second one is a velocity of data. Velocity of data. So what is velocity? Velocity is nothing but processing speed. Processing speed. Based upon the processing speed also we can decide whether the data is big data or not, like text data, voice data. So these are all comes under the types again. So the third thing is variety of data. Variety of data. So what is variety of data? Means different type of data, like text format we have some data, and voice data or pictures, right? So, or images, we can say pictures or images, etc. So these are all comes under the variety of data. Audio, video files, all these things comes under the variety of data. And we have another property called as a value. What is value? So if we have some data, that data should be worthful, like that should be used for analysis purpose. Suppose if you have some junk data, there is no use of the data to have it, right? So in the data warehouse we should have the data which can be worthful. So that data should be useful for analyzing the business. So if you have some junk data, unnecessary data, that is not much useful. Because of that, processing speed will be wasted and storage is also will be wasted. So we should not have any kind of junk data if you want to do perfect kind of analysis. So value also we need to make sure. So value is nothing but worth of data being extracted. Worth of data. So what kind of data? That data is valuable data or not? That is also makes different. And the last one is veracity. Veracity. So veracity is nothing but how much accurate the data is. So once we pull this data into the data warehouse, this data warehouse data should satisfy all these points. Like it should have a huge volume, and it should have the velocity because it should require certain processing speed, and it is contains the different kinds of varieties of data, and it should be worthful. The data should be used for analysis purpose, and this should be very accurate. The data should be very accurate. Like that is basically called as a veracity. Veracity is nothing but how accurate the data is. If the data is accurate, then we can do analysis, then we will get the actual result. But if the data is not accurate, we'll get result wrong, and also will take the incorrect business decisions. So this is also very important while analyzing the data. Veracity is another parameter of big data. How accurate the data is. How accurate the data is. That is decided by veracity. So these are the five important characteristics we should know. Is called as a five V's of big data. Five V's of big data. Five V's of big data. So if any data which will satisfy these 5 points or five characteristics, that we can call as a big data. Volume is size of the data, velocity is the processing speed, and variety of data like text, voice, pictures or images, and then value of the data, is it worthful or not, and then variety of the data, how accurate the data is. Okay, this is very important. Now in big data also we have varieties of data. As I said, varieties of data means text data, voice, pictures, images. There are n number of type of data. All this data will be divided into three categories. All the data, any kind of data, will be divided into three different categories of data. So what is the three categories? The first category called as structured data. Structured data means, what is structured data? So generally, like students data or employee data will be stored in the tabular format, right? So that is basically called as structured data. Like if you want to manage the structured data, RDBMS softwares are enough, like Oracle, SQL Server. So these traditional databases are enough to store structured data. Okay, so data which can be easily read and store in tabular format, that is basically called as a structured data. So for example, let us say an employee data is an example for structural data or structured data. And we have a second category is called as, these are all basically types of data. Types of data. So second category we have is semi-structured data. Semi-structured. So what is semi-structured data? It is just half of structured and half of is not structured. That is called as semi-structured data. So for example, here XML file data and like emails. So these are all semi-structured data. XML files and email messages, these are all comes under the semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. And the third category we have is unstructured data. Unstructured data. So what is unstructured data? Unstructured data which is not having any structure, and we cannot store the data in the tables. So that is basically called as unstructured data. So for example, video files and also audio files, video files, audio files, and text files, and the log files, so etc. These are all comes under the unstructured data. Unstructured data. These data we cannot store in traditional RDBMS in tabular format. Okay, so these are all types of data: structured data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data. So big data can be having these kinds of data. It can be having structured data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data, or combination of any of this data. Okay, so this is the basic at high level understanding of what is big data, from which sources the big data is coming from, and if you want to say the big data, what are the characteristics it should satisfy, and what kind of data will be there in big data. So it can be structured data or semi-structured data or unstructured data, right? So now let us see about Hadoop. What is an Hadoop? We have just talk about what is big data. So the main important of big data is, the main challenging in big data is storing of data and processing the data. So what is storage? We need to store the data in some place. We need to hold the data. And what is processing? If we want to do certain kind of analysis, we need to process the data like inserting, updating. So these kind of actions we can do, that is basically called as a processing. So to make sure to make these two challenges in my mind, in our mind, storage and processing capacity, the Hadoop came into the picture. So Hadoop is basically a Java based framework that is able to handle this big data. It is able to store this big data, and also it is able to process this big data. Hadoop is a technology. Hadoop is a technology or is a framework, is a Java based framework, and which is basically used for storing and processing big data. Storing and processing big data. And this is Hadoop is designed by Apache Foundation. Apache Foundation. So there is some history behind this because it is basically started from Google and then go to Yahoo, finally settled in Apache Foundation. So we'll talk about history sometime after a few sessions. So here Apache Foundation is basically responsible for Hadoop implementation. It's played very important role in Hadoop implementation. So Hadoop is basically a Java-based framework which is used for storing and processing big data. Storing and processing big data. And what are the different points about Hadoop? Let us see a few things. How it will store and how it will process. So before discussing that mechanism, first of all, let us understand this is also is a open source. Hadoop is open source. We don't need to purchase any license with this. And in other words, we can see Hadoop used commodity hardware and cluster concept. That is another important point. Hadoop is used commodity hardware. Commodity means cheaper hardware. Commodity hardware and cluster concept. I'll explain what is this cluster concept. What is this one? Let us understand. Hadoop is Java-based framework used for storing and processing big data. Hadoop is a basically open source tool and it is used commodity hardware and cluster concept. What is this one? So let us just explain here. So basically Hadoop will use cluster concept. Cluster concept is nothing but, for example, we have main node. This is called as a master, and it will have multiple slave nodes. Multiple nodes means multiple systems. So as soon as the big data come into the picture, the master node, what this will do is this will send this big data to the multiple nodes. It will store and split the data into multiple machines. So this is called as a cluster concept. Master and slave technology they will use. This is called as a cluster. One cluster can have multiple masters and also multiple slave machines. The data is split into multiple machines. That is basically called as a cluster concept. Cluster concept. So Hadoop is basically using cluster concept with commodity hardware. Commodity hardware is nothing but a cheaper hardware. Like here, master node can be highly configuration machine, and rest of the things can be no need to be highly configuration machines because they can also use the cheaper hardware. Why? Because every data whichever is storing and sending and storing in these machines will maintain three different copies, and three different copies will be maintained in three different machines. So even though one machine is down or corrupted, and we can access the data, we can access the data from other machines. So that possibility is there. So that's the reason Hadoop is implemented on the cluster. At the same time, Hadoop will use commodity hardware, means the cheaper softwares like low configuration machines. So low configuration machines it will use. So Hadoop will use basically it is a Java based framework used for storing and processing of big data. And then Hadoop is basically open source tool. Hadoop is open source tool. Hadoop is used commodity hardware and cluster concept. So what is commodity hardware means? A cheaper software, cheaper hardware. Sorry, not software. This is cheaper hardware and the low configuration machines as a slaves. And it will use cluster concept. Cluster concept is nothing but we have master node and the data will be sent to multiple machines across the cluster, and the data will also maintain three different copies. So if one copy is lost and other two copies are available. So this is the basic at high level introduction about the Hadoop. But this Hadoop is recommended for only huge data sets, not for small data sets. If you want to store a small data set, traditional RDBMS is enough. But if you want to store huge data sets, then only Hadoop will be preferred. And Hadoop is recommended for only huge data sets, not for small data sets, not for small data sets, not for small data sets. These are the very important points which we need to remember about Hadoop. Okay, Hadoop is Java-based framework used for storing and processing data. Hadoop is an open source tool. Hadoop is used across commodity software like cheaper hardware, and it's used cluster concept. And it is recommended only for huge data sets, for not but not smaller data sets. And here we need to understand how the Hadoop is storing and processing big data. That is very important. How Hadoop is storing and processing big data. So Hadoop is having two components. Hadoop is mainly having two components. So these two components will responsible for storing and processing of big data. So one of the component is HDFS. HDFS means Hadoop file system. HDFS, Hadoop file system, Hadoop distributed file system. So this is a component which is responsible for storing huge data, or can call as a big data. So this is responsible for storing big data. The other component we have is MapReduce. So this is a component which is responsible for processing of data or retrieving the data, storing the data, and applying certain formulas on the data. All these things is done by the MapReduce, HDFS and MapReduce. So these are the main two important components we have in Hadoop, which is responsible for storing and processing of data. This is a major challenge we have in big data. So we cannot store big data in whichever way we want. We need a special kind of systems where we can store the big data. And processing is also very complex to uh, have the big data. So these are the two challenges we have in big data. So we have two components in Hadoop. One is HDFS, which is responsible for storing the data. The other one is a MapReduce, and which is responsible for processing the data. HDFS and MapReduce. So by using these two components, we'll handle the big data. So Hadoop is a open source framework, Java based framework, which is developed by Apache Foundation, and it will use internally commodity hardware and cluster concept. Commodity hardware is nothing but very cheaper machines we can use as a slaves, and cluster concept means the data is split into multiple machines in the cluster, and when I retrieve the data is also again combined from the multiple systems and we'll get the data. And this is all we can see as part of MapReduce and HDFS in detail in the coming sessions. And Hadoop is recommended only for huge data sets, not for small data sets. Okay, so this is just highly introduction about what is big data and what is Hadoop. Okay, so now let us see what is the career map. Suppose if you learn big data or Hadoop, what are the different domains we have or different areas we have in big data and Hadoop world, and where we need to land it and what we need to learn as part of this course and what are the jobs I can prefer to apply. So all these things let us discuss now. So let us see what is a career in Hadoop. So what are the things we are going to learn? So especially in the market currently, we have five different type of careers are available if you learn Hadoop or big data. Okay, the first one is we can call as a Hadoop administrator. Hadoop admin. Okay, Hadoop admin. This is a one designation they have. The other career is Hadoop developers. Hadoop developers. And the third thing is uh, Hadoop testers. Hadoop testers. And also we have data analyst. Data analyst. And we have a data scientist. So these are the different career options we have if you learn big data or Hadoop. So if you observe these careers, the first career is Hadoop administrator. If you learn only Hadoop, you can go as a administrator. This is a different concept. How we can set up the Hadoop, how we can managing the clusters, all these things we need to take care by the Hadoop admins. So they should know the database administrator background. So they should have some experience on administrating the databases like Oracle, SQL Server, whatever. And those people can go and choose this particular career, Hadoop administrator. Okay, and these people will always deal with the installing Hadoop systems and managing the clusters. If we got any issues in Hadoop environment, they have to fix all these things taken care by the Hadoop administrators. The second one is Hadoop developers. So basically these people will develop complex programs. Basically they are MapReduce programs. We can call them as a MapReduce programs. So the Hadoop developers are responsible for designing the MapReduce program. These are very complex program and this is very toughest job. So you should have experience on programming. So here the first you need to have a database background, database DBA background, right? So the second category, if you want to go as a Hadoop developer, you need to have a strong programming background or strong programming experience. Okay, that is very important. And if you go as a testers, here Hadoop testers we can call as a big data testers, because in big data, not only Hadoop technology, there are multiple technologies came into the picture now. So in big data we have Hadoop, we have a MongoDB, we have Cassandra, we have Scala, right? We have Spark. There are multiple technologies are there in market, not only Hadoop. So this is basically big data testers. Big data testers is a huge kind of designation, and these people are responsible for testing the data, and somehow the analytic part is also involved in this Hadoop or big data testers. And here these testers are basically two types of testers again, like unit testers and functional testers. So they need also require certain coding language, because they have to test the map reduce programs or pig scripts or hive scripts. They need to test them. So they need to have little bit query skills or database skills, and also they should have little bit programming knowledge, a basic but not much as developers. So Hadoop and big data testers, and these people have should have some QA background. QA background is required, and the basic the databases knowledge is also required. I'll clarify those questions, Srikanth. Just please hold on. Okay, I'll clarify all your questions at the end of the session. Sure, no problem. So Hadoop and big data tester. Suppose if you go as a tester, these people should have some QA background or testing background, and they should also have database skills, and they can go for big data tester. And little bit of programming skills like Java or Python is also required, programming skills. But experience is not much important here, but the skills are important. You should be able to understand Java programs, or it should be able to execute select insert update commands or DML commands in the database. At that level is important for Hadoop or big data testers. If you go for analyst and data scientist is little bit huge. So if you start career as a Hadoop or big data tester, slowly you can go as a data analyst, and slowly you can go as a data scientist. So here the people will use like R programming knowledge, R tools, and data analyst also they will use statistic. If you have some statistics background, they can also go for data analyst and data scientist. So these four and fifth designations again based upon the first one, two, three. More on three. So if you go as Hadoop and big data testers, you can go as an analyst and you can go as a data scientist in future. And the first two designations are completely different. This purely administrator and development background. Okay, so these are the five different careers we have in big data world on in Hadoop technologies in the market. So people call a Hadoop administrator, Hadoop developers, or big data or Hadoop testers, and data analyst and data scientist and everything. So nowadays in the market, if you come to the programming, so majorly Java and Python is very popular. Well, if you are entering into the Hadoop as a career or big data as a career, Java or Python, you should at least have the basic programming skills on Java or Python, basic knowledge on Java or Python. But if you want to go as a developer, the skills are not required. Skills are required, but you need to have a certain kind of experience on programming. A strong programming skills you should have either in Java or Python. Okay, if you go as a developer, but if you go as an administrator, then you should have some experience on the administrator background. It can be Oracle, SQL Server, whatever. Okay, skills are not enough. You need to also have some database background and also some kind of experience like 2 to 3 years of experience if you go as an admin. But if you go as a Hadoop or big data testers or data analyst, you no need to have the you should have the basic skill, but you no need to have any experience. You can go as a big data testers or a Hadoop directly, okay, by learning these concepts like Java or Python. And databases side, at least you should have some knowledge on Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, Teradata, whatever. Some RDBMS software we require or Oracle. These are the prerequisite to enter into the big data world. So Oracle or SQL Server, some etc. Any database is fine. Any database knowledge you require. So either programming side you require and database. Especially for going as a testers, we require some QA skills. Like what are the testings we have? Okay, QA testing skills are required. You need to have some testing background. So what are the different type of testings we have? like what is functional testings, what is non-functional testing, what are the different type of testings we can conduct. All these things we should aware of. A testing process, bug reporting. So these concepts are required if you go as a Hadoop or big data tester. Okay, so these are the different designations we have in the market, and for every designation we require certain kind of skills. Okay, so now come to this particular course is especially designed for two things. One is for big data Hadoop testers and data analyst. So these are the two core concepts which will be covered as part of this course. So now the course is designed completely for testing and also analyst. And if you learn this particular course, you can apply for different designation like big data architect or big data testing, big data analyst or Hadoop analyst. So these kind of jobs you can apply for if you learn this particular course, testing and analyst portion. But this course is not designed for development and not designed for administrator. Just please make sure this. Okay, this course is not designed for administrator, not designed for developers. This is purely designed for QA background people, and also little bit programming skills are required, Java or Python and data analyst. You can go and apply for these jobs. So once you are get into this field, slowly you can move on to the as a data scientist. You can improve your skills in R programming and so on. Then you can go as a data scientist in future. But nowadays in the current market, these are the designations or these are the jobs are hardcore. So currently very huge number of openings are there in the market currently if you learn these particular technologies, because slowly the data is getting into very huge. This is 2018, 2020, 2025. Once you reach there, the data is very huge. So we need lot many technologies. This is no unlimited career, never ending career. If you start career in this particular field, this is the latest technology will keep on adding here, but the field is still going on because the data is always there. So if the data is there, we require security, we require to do certain kind of analysis, we need to manage this data. So all these careers will be there always. This is never ending field. The latest technologies keep on adding in this particular field. Okay, so that is all about the course. Basically this course is basically designed for testing and analyst. So as a prerequisite to start this coursing is you require some database skills. That's the first prerequisite. And also if you have some Java or Python skills are also required. So database skills and Java or Python skills are very much required. So this is a basic thing. If you don't have any background or if you want to learn something, I'll share all the videos like database and Java programming videos. You can watch them and you can get familiar with this. Okay, and also you require some Linux background, Unix or Linux background, because the Hadoop or HDFS mainly install on Unix or Linux environment. So you need to work with completely Linux environment or Unix environment. So not on Windows. Okay, so these are the basic things or basic prerequisite we should have before starting a career in Hadoop or big data. Okay, so this is all about these sessions. Now I'll clarify whatever questions you have. Srikanth is asking questions like how much Java is needed for Hadoop. So if you want to go for as a developer, you require advanced Java concepts. Not only core Java concepts are not enough. You need to go and learn advanced Java if you go as a developers. But if you go as an analyst or testing, so very basic core Java is required, like how we can write a simple programs like looping statement, arrays, strings, and object-oriented programming concepts. So these concepts are more than enough if you go as a tester or a data analyst. Okay, but if you go as a developer, you need to know the advanced Java concepts. You need to go very advanced. And the second question you're asking, Hadoop admin, can developers get into this? So administrator is different kind of a concept. Developer is different basically. Developer is basically responsible for developing the map reduce programs by using either Java or Python. And when you come to the administrator job is different. Administrator is basically responsible for installing the Hadoop systems, setting up the Hadoop clusters. If anyone is facing an environmental issues, then they are the responsible for fixing those issues. So all these things will basically handled by the Hadoop administrator. It is just like a IT team. He comes under the part of IT team in companies. So usually the database administrator team will be there, right? What are those responsibility? Basically, they are setting up this environment. So similarly, Hadoop administrator will set up in the Hadoop cluster and environment. And if there are any issues in environmentally, so they will fix those issues. So that level, they should have some idea. That is completely different angle of Hadoop, admin and developer. And if you go as an administrator, you should know the database administration concepts. That is as a prerequisite. That can be any database, either Oracle or SQL Server, whatever. Okay, that is one. Okay, so that is I just already told you what are the daily tasks, right? As a Java, as a Hadoop developer, you need to write MapReduce programs. And if you go as an administrator, your responsibilities will be fixing the tickets. Like suppose if anyone working on Hadoop environment, if they face any issues related environmental issues, you need to fix it, or you need to install the Hadoop environment. You need to setting up the clusters. So if any cluster is down, you need to make up and running always. You need to make sure. So all these things are responsibilities of Hadoop administrator. Okay. So these are the prerequisites of Hadoop admin and Hadoop development. Uh, yes, some people, oh yeah, ETL developer now and got a chance for Hadoop admin opportunity. Yes, chances is always there. Again, they have to choose the proper appropriate career according to their background, according to their skills. If you want to switch it to one admin to or developer, development to admin, no issue at all. But you will feel like a little bit complexity because the career is completely different. That's the reason. Suppose if you have a database background, then you can go for administrator. That will be plus for you. And if you have some development background, just better to go for Hadoop developer. That is uh, preferable career. And if you have some QA background, then go as a tester or data analyst. That is a basic preferable manner. Okay, but still, if you have interested in other domains, you can still switch to other domains. Suppose if you already have some experience or you already have worked on some administration background, now you are going to, if you are now you are interested to go to as a developer, or now you are interested to go to as admin, you can still switch to another career. But you will feel little bit difficulty, but you need to do a lot of hard work because you need to start from ABC again. So that's the reason I'm just suggesting you to choose appropriate skills or choose appropriate career based upon your background and based upon your skill set. Okay, so that's what I'm suggesting you. So everyone, so that's all from my side.